Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's #1 community for brilliant childcare leaders. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches, best-selling authors, and have personally helped thousands of childcare owners around the world achieve incredible growth. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 23 of the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
We're so excited to be coming to you today. So as you're listening to this podcast, Carol and I are actually in Jamaica right now, because we record this a couple weeks before we actually air it. So we're actually laying on a beach right now, probably sipping a drink with a little umbrella straw in it. I bet you can't wait. Are you excited?
Since I'm looking out the window at snow, can't come fast enough.
Yeah, no kidding. So we're leaving here. So when this is aired, right now you're listening and think about us laying on a beach in Jamaica. So we spent 2 weeks in Jamaica every January doing goal and dream setting for our business and our personal life for the entire year.
And of course, we do relaxing as well. And we reflect on the great year that we just had.
Yeah, we look at the last year, we look towards the next year, we set some goals. And so what we've done is this January, this whole month, we decided we're going to do couples month for the Childcare Genius Podcast. All guests this month will be couples building their childcare business together.
And it's not easy working so close with a spouse or a business partner.
I know. That's other people. Of us, it's easy. I mean, come on. I mean, I get to work with this beautiful woman each and every day. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I assume she's the luckiest lady in the world. She gets to work with this good-looking, hot, young stud guy. Well, not young anymore, but super guy who's 100% into her. And we have a lot of fun. We have a big house on a lake, and I chase her around the house just about every day. And we have a lot of fun together. And we're together 24/7, 365, done so for a long time. We've had many challenges, but we finally figured out how to work together. And now we love coaching other people on how to work better together. So our guests on the podcast today are Nataliya and Andrey Malinovsky from Northern New Jersey. They have a very amazing story, and we love working with them. Now, Carol and I just visited their schools. We spent an entire day working with them. We worked on their financials. We worked on relationship. We worked on their culture. And we just had a literal blast with them all day long. We shared some food and really got to know them on a personal level and a deep business level. And can't stress that enough, how much we love going to schools and visiting with them.
Let's get Nataliya and Andrey on the line.
Hey, Nataliya and Andrey, welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. How you guys doing today?
Good morning, Brian.
Good.
Carol.
How are you?
Good. We are outstanding. We're so excited to have you guys on board. You're one of our newest friends that we've made, and we were just with you guys live last month and getting to know you guys a lot better and just having a whole lot of fun. And thank you so much for coming on our podcast today. Can you tell us a little bit about New Jersey? You're in New Jersey, right? What part?
We are in northern part of New Jersey, northeast, right on the border of New Jersey and New York, the highway. So it's we didn't realize how big New Jersey is. Once we start traveling down south, like, oh my gosh, it takes us 2.5 hours to just cross it. Even though it looks small on the map, but it's pretty big, even for our standards. But we are, and our businesses are also in the north. A little bit north and a little bit west of in New Jersey. So we have pretty much covering the most populated areas of New Jersey.
So I got a chance to visit your schools last month, and a little bit different than I'm used to, the driving in traffic, going over the bridges in New York City, traveling through there. It was quite the culture shock for me traveling in there, but I actually enjoyed seeing your schools. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? And I know you're not from here because you have that Southern accent. Just kidding. Where are you guys from?
We both are from Ukraine, but we met here actually. But my background is the teaching background, and Andrey was always dealing with finances. 7 years ago, I was always dreaming of having my own childcare center. So I said, okay, I think this is time to try something new, and the stuff that I always wanted to do, teaching. And Andrey had also financial background, and this is when we opened our first center. After a couple of years, when we got comfortable, we actually opened our second center in 2019. So this is where we are right now. And you guys both helped us a lot, like 1 month ago, trying to help with different parts of our business. So thank you guys.
Well, we really enjoy getting to know you guys. I mean, your schools are amazing, and we had a lot of fun together. Benedict, we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So you guys are actually Dynasty-level students in our Childcare Genius University coaching program. Can you tell us why you decided to join our program, first of all, and what you're getting out of our one-on-one coaching sessions? Because we only do one-on-one coaching in our program. So what do you get out of that?
Well, for many people it is tough. For my background, and I working, and I've met a lot of people, and it's very difficult for somebody to go and realize that you don't know everything. We, as Nataliya pointed out, we got pretty comfortable with the first center, and ultimately, as a logical next step is, well, let's move on and get another center. And as you realize that what's good for one center may not be the same thing as having for the second center, whether you run it as an individual, 2 different companies with the same industry, or as one group. And all of a sudden we realized that, hey, by the way, how come it was so easy, that one, and this one seems to take more time to realize what we've done there at a shorter period of time. We start to look, ask each other, and we came to the point that instead of actually going through and sometimes wasting a lot of time and money and effort, something doesn't work, it's very wise to ask somebody, perhaps. And I didn't realize how mentorship actually helps people. It doesn't have to give you answers, but just watching and talking, and you will come to your own conclusion what needs to be done. Most of the people already know what needs to be done. They need affirmation of that, and mentorship is probably the best thing you can possibly ask for, because it doesn't force you to do anything. You will still have to do your work, but that guidance and that knowing that there is somebody on the other end of the phone who ultimately and intimately knows your business, and that's where you guys came in, because it wasn't a phone conversation. Hey, by the way, I think you need to do this, this, and this. No, you came in, you took a look, and
you met directors, you met staff members, and that was very helpful, because now we actually know what to look out for and what to do next, what the steps are.
Well, exactly, and that's what we think made the big difference. It's almost like anything else, like family life, anything else. You get involved in your day-to-day operations and you skip certain things. They're right in front of you. You just don't see them unless you take a look or have somebody else take a look from the outside. That helps you so much. And it's not even the money aspect or asking for somebody's help. It makes you, you realize what you actually know. And then that experience, you can kind of pinpoint exactly where you're supposed to be at that point and what needs to be done for the next one. You realize that, what needs to be done in order to get the second one, third one, if you have that growth mind. And if not, as anything else, it's not for everybody. But if you are willing to take that next step, this is the step that would be definitely recommend for anybody to take.
Well, you guys are great students, and what I mean by that is you're very good listeners. You ask a lot of questions, and you're not afraid to take chances. and you're also you're very humble. That's what I like about you. You're willing to learn and listen. And what I see a lot of times when people start getting in this business and they start opening a couple schools, and they think they know everything about the business, and they're like, I don't need a coach. I know everything. And that's when you think you know everything, you know nothing. That's the problem. And I started getting around people that just they didn't want to hang around the lower level. We call it the lower level people, the people that only had one school and small school because they thought they've arrived. You know, I've got three, I've got four schools. I know everything. They go to conferences, they go to hang out with their friends. They don't listen to the speakers. If you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're actually the dumbest person in the room because I don't care how many schools you get at, you can learn from everybody. And you can learn from somebody who's got one school with 50 kids as much as you can learn from five people, a person with five schools and 300 or 400 kids. It's amazing to me how many people think that they know everything. And you guys are so humble. You're always looking for more. That's why I know you're going to be so successful. And let's talk a little bit about more the day we spent together. So we spent about 9 hours together in a conference room. And we had your finances out. We digged into those. We digged into relationship stuff. We digged into staff issues. Let's talk a little bit about the day from your perspective. How about you, Natalia? What did you get out of the day? I'd like to hear from both of you what you got out of the day.
It was very helpful for me, especially about the staffing part, because as we know, during COVID, we had a really hard time with the staffing our classrooms. And even though we had all the coverages that we're supposed to by licensing, that, you know, the culture part also plays a big role in the school and running a successful business. So taking from a different perspective, and when you came and spoke to my directors, it was also for me like a different side of the you looked at it and you actually affirmed what I was thinking, because I was not sure, am I doing everything right? What am I doing wrong? Is it just me, or is it somebody who you know, that was for me, it was hard to pinpoint if that was right or wrong. So when you came in and you actually spoke to them, and then we met and discussed it, so it gives also for me, gave me affirmation that I was right. It's just I needed someone to tell me that as well. Was very helpful on that coaching part of it. How about you, Andrey?
I think, you know, many people can take the approach that if I invite somebody into my school, that means that it's almost like a failure. I can't figure things out. That's why I'm inviting somebody for them to figure it out for me. And I hope that our staff, the directors and the teachers, don't see it that way, but see it as the way that, hey, our owners, they are not looking to cut costs because they're inviting somebody to take a look at the school, what needs to be cut and how more profitable you become. No, we invited somebody to better not only ourselves, but the schools and therefore their lives as well, to offer new products, to offer new benefits. How do we do it? It's not that we look for more, we look for better. It doesn't have to be more, but for better. So it makes them easier. The staff is happier. The director knows what they're doing. That means that their lives are easier, and therefore our job is easier. We can concentrate on growth and perfecting things that we already started to do, as opposed to struggling with something and just trying to come out, well, maybe this one works. Well, if it doesn't work, maybe this one works. You can spend the whole year on trying things. Unfortunately, time goes by pretty fast, as that day that we met. 9 hours sounds like it's a lot. I don't think it was enough. There's so many things to cover, and you can concentrate on one subject, and oh boy, and you can spend 9 hours talking about it. There's just so many different ways to approach it. So that conversation, we try to in 9 hours fit our personal goals, business, where we headed, what we've done, where we are at, so we can come up with some idea where we stand. which is very hard to do on our own, talking to between just two of us, because we know exactly what we have, where we want to go. But how do you combine everything into one? So everything moves forward simultaneously, and there's nothing that, you can cover three subjects, and that one thing that you missed is pulling you back and keeps you back, and you don't realize it until it's kind of late. Everything moved up, and something left behind. You don't know what was it, and that was that little thing that kept you from making the next step.
For sure.
But but that day was an eye opener on a lot of things. Things that we can do, things that the little advantages that a business person can have against the other business person even in the same industry. You're nice enough to share who you're dealing with, as an example, your accountant. We took you up on that, and oh boy, was that a good move. Of course, everything needs to be affirmed, but so far, the advice that we got from your accountant was great, financially, and also made us aware of the things that, by the way, just because you have a great relationship with one of the people that you started to build the business or whole thing, that doesn't mean that it's all there is. Keep an open mind. Talk to people. Take a little chance here. I mean, make sure everything is whatever you're comfortable with, obviously, because the final decision is yours. But do explore, and that was the best thing that meeting with you gave it to me personally, at least.
One thing that a lot of people don't understand is we're looking for, when we're meeting, is we're looking for hidden blind spots, things that when somebody's in your blind spot in your mirror, you don't know they're there. And a lot of times people don't know what blind spots have in their business. So when we go a site visit, we're looking for your blind spots. Things, we had pointed out some things that we saw in your school, Natalia, that we thought were blind spots, and you'll correct them right away. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And that's why it's always good to have a fresh set of eyes come into your school. And when we were looking at your financials, we saw the same thing. Say, this may be a blind spot. This may be a blind spot. It's ultimately up to the client whether they make that decision to make changes. But our job is to try to get you, obviously, more profitable, better school, reduce liability, and a better run school, and also help you towards your goals and dreams. We know what your goals are. We know what your dreams are. And our job is to help you get them. And you guys are rock stars. You're working your way towards them. And we're so excited to be working with you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
we're very
We're same
thank you.
here.
Well, we're very excited to, it's not that we, oh my gosh, because we've known Brian and Carol for some time, even before you guys opened up your coaching aspect. But there's a time and point for everything, and it just worked out. I think anybody should at least entertain an idea of asking, and it's not, you're not, as I mentioned before, you're not asking for help. Oh my gosh, I'm drowning, help me. No, this is, even when you're doing excellent, you have a good, profitable business, your staffing is excellent, and your procedures are intact, and everything works to perfection. It never hurts to ask, because it's just your opinion that works perfect. And all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you realize, what happened? I thought everything is great. Well, it wasn't, but it takes time for that to appear. So it's better to know, be prepared, be aware of what's going on, not only in the industry, but just overall. It doesn't have to be a business that has to go hayride, but something else can hit you from some other side. And that's why working with somebody like we have, it kind of helps.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is also, one of the most important things also is to keep, and you guys made us aware of this, to kind of combine, and don't forget about the personal lives and the business lives. Make sure they're kind of intact, because you don't want to build one and ignore the other. That kind of. So, because eventually it's both. When you try to perfect one thing, you kind of forget about the other one. Oh, I'll come along. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. So working with your spouse as a business partner or any other business partner isn't easy. So how would you define your different lanes of responsibility? And are you pretty good with staying in your own side of the business?
Oh, it's easy. I do whatever she tells me. That's it.
It's pretty much. Yes. But I'm good with daily operations and dealing with parents, staff, and children. And Andre is very good with the financial side of the business. So we try not to cross each other's lanes because otherwise it would be a mess and it would be hard to keep track of everything. So we're pretty good with dividing our roles here.
I mean, certain things do go through trial and error. See if you can do it.
Right.
But we always make sure that we do make each other aware of what I'm doing and she's doing. So just in case something, God forbid, happens, every one of us can step in at least for the while to figure things out. But as Nataliya pointed out, whatever has to do with financials, my responsibility. Whatever has to do with everything else, basically it's
Mine.
Basically it's hers.
And that's kind of how we do things too. So we know when we met you guys and got to know you a whole lot better, we're a lot alike, very much alike in our goals or settings. You're just a much younger version of ourselves. And you got more hair, so that's what I looked like when I was your age, Andre, a little younger, debonair. Didn't have quite the accent you have, but I used to have that big head of hair as well. But anyway. I digress.
Are you saying that's what I have to look forward to?
What you're gonna be a good-looking 55-year-old with a super hot smoking wife next to you? Yes, that's what you have to look forward to.
Well, you guys look great. That don't diminish yourself.
Yeah, just tell me about the aches and the pains when you get out of bed in the morning when you're in your mid-50s. But other than that, hey, every day above ground is a good day. That's my philosophy.
One doctor told me if you wake up and nothing hurts, that means you're dead. So
that's just about right? Things could always be worse.
That's right.
So where do you see you guys? Let's talk about where do you see you guys, your business in the next 10 years? So what's your long-term plans?
I think, I was always dreaming of having multiple centers. So maybe in 10 years, I'll maybe 5 centers. So that's the goal, to have that growth. But first, I have to make sure that these 2 are running great and all the operations and all the policies are intact before I start moving up. And I would think also another goal for 10 years is we should start traveling more. We both like traveling, and that would be on our bucket list to visit different countries. Hopefully.
Well, good. We would love you to come with us on one of our Caribbean trips. That would be awesome.
Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds.
We prefer doing business on a beach. It's something about learning when you see palm trees is just a whole lot better than seeing snow on the ground.
That's for sure. Lots of vitamin D, especially in the winter times, doesn't hurt.
Yeah, we don't get much up here. We're vitamin D deficient up here. But anyway, the good thing about working together, Nataliya, is when you do find a location or you're ready to get that next center, we're there to help you, to evaluate the deal, making sure you get a good deal. And expansion is our specialty. And we can't wait to work with you and help you get to that goal over the next few years for sure. So
well, that goal that Nataliya just mentioned, I would have never thought that I would 5 centers, 2, 3, why 5? But talking to you guys, first of all, it made us comfortable with having more. And number 2, we realized that we were correct when we were thinking before. Well, you have to have some kind of a system, at least a plan to do this, and how is it done? And I am sure we would have been able to figure it out on our own, but it would have taken us much more time, much more money, and who knows what would have happened on the way to there. But we don't have to mimic everything that how you guys did it or somebody else doing it. But basically, it gave us almost like a green light as opposed to cautious yellow. Like, hey, proceed carefully. But just don't be afraid. You do it. You want it. You're in it. So don't just say it's too difficult or it's going to take me more work. Having more centers doesn't mean more work, but you have to know what you're doing at a certain point.
You know, once you get past the hump, I call the hump center number 2. Center 2 is the hardest center to open. The first school is not as hard as the second. And a lot of people that makes no sense to me. You would think the first school is the hardest to open. It's actually the second, because the first one is your baby. You become so emotionally attached to it. You build it up. It becomes everything of you. You make every decision all day long. Well, for you to build a second school or to open a second school, you've got to let go of your baby. It's like being the empty nest and your kid moves out, you know. It's you've got to let go of number 1 to open number 2. And a lot of times that is why 90 something percent of center owners never do the second school. They can't let go of number 1. You've already crossed the hump. You got your second school. Once you do 2, you could do 100. It doesn't get any harder. It actually starts getting easier. And 5 schools are even easier to run than 2 if you have systems in place. And it just doesn't make sense when you have 1 to think that 5 would be less work. But it actually is. Every multi-center owner who has 5 schools will tell you running 1 school is the hardest job out there, because you're involved in every exhausting decision continually, and 24/7, 365. You're thinking about every possible thing, and you're worried about staffing. And once you have 5 schools and 10 schools, you've got people that handle the worrying for you. You have regionals, and you have the system managers and operations managers, and people that get those calls when people call in sick, that fill in staffing. You're not involved in those decisions. Life gets easier.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that thing. That's exactly what Nataliya and I were talking about once we met you. Learning how to delegate, it's a big step. Also finding out what you're good at, because you don't have to be good at everything. You don't even actually have to know everything, but surrounding yourself with people who know and who can do things that you either don't like doing it or you're not good at doing it, well, it kind of helps.
Yeah, knowing a little bit about a lot is a lot better than knowing a lot about a little. So yeah, I know very little, but I know a lot of little things about a lot of little things. And that's the secret to success. You don't have to be a specialist in one area, because nobody's a specialist in all areas, for sure. So I love that,
Right.
Andrey.
Well, so sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what Andrey was saying, that I'm learning to delegate right now, because as you were saying, it was all me, and now it gets a little easier once you start delegating things, that's for sure.
And delegating is not always about, hey, somebody else could do the work. It's about working in your unique genius, we call it. It's the areas that you want to work in. Nataliya, if you love doing, say, curriculum, well, keep doing that curriculum. But if you don't like doing payroll, you farm it out to somebody who does like payroll, or a payroll company. So you should never, life's too short to do things you don't want to do. Andrey, you love finances? Stay doing finance. If you don't like it, hire somebody to do it. So that's the secret with delegation, is only living within your genius, your unique part of what you love to do. And that way, every day you wake up, you love your job, because guess what? You're only doing things you love to do. And that's the secret to a happy life, is living that, and delegate everything you're not happy with.
Well, that's something that was my problem on the first center, my personal things, because there are a lot of things, as everybody knows, every business owner knows. You got to do the accounting, you got to do the receipts, you have to do prepare for the quarterlies, you have to do all these things. And every time I remember me saying, because we've heard that before, you delegate, you hire people, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it's easier said than done. Well, first of all, I got to find that person. Number 2, I got to trust that person. Number 3, the most important, I got to pay this person. That money out of my pocket, so I better do it myself. What you don't realize is how much money and time you're saving. And that time that you hire somebody else, yes, you pay them, but at that same time, you spend your own time on something you like, your profitability just goes up. You don't even realize how much more you do because of something you like. And yes, you spend money to pay somebody to do your numbers, but that may be $20 an hour. For that same hour, you do work worth $100 an hour. That's how you save. That's where your money comes from. Not by giving somebody else to do work that you don't like. They're actually saving you money. It took me a long time, real long time, because I couldn't write that check to somebody else. I was stingy. I didn't realize that I'm actually doing myself a favor. She doesn't have to hear my not so nice wording from time to time, because I hated it. It takes too much time. But I realized that was the wrong approach. Nothing wrong with thinking, but the wrong approach. That's all.
I the same way, Andre. I hate spending money. I'm tight. And we used to spend the entire weekend, every weekend, doing maintenance in all our 7 locations. We had 7 open back 15 years ago. And we'd spend the whole weekend, every weekend, with our kids living along. For 5, 10 years we did this. And you know what? Because it was too cheap to hire a maintenance person. And we actually lost so much of our kids growing up because we were always working that I would, if I had to go back, it's one of the things I would do sooner is delegate out that to somebody else, not worry about the money so much because you can't buy time back. So, we learn to live in our genius now, but we made these mistakes early on. That's why we're telling people like you, hey, live in your genius now, delegate out. And sometimes it's cheaper to pay somebody else to do something than you do it yourself, because when you go to fix something, you might not fix it right, and it costs you more in the long run to not have the right person doing the job. So, all right. So, thank you. That's excellent. We're so much alike, you and me, Andre. So I love that.
What
So that
advice?
means we don't need you.
Awesome.
What advice would you give to someone who's struggling in the childcare business?
The first thing I think is the patience, because in our times right now, we sometimes are impatient with the people around us. So the patience for people who are struggling. Sometimes it's difficult to pinpoint like what is exactly our pain point, what is exactly our struggle. But I think we talked a lot about delegation. So I think the delegation will go a long way in helping people to get off of those pain points, and some of the struggles might help. So that's my goal also for 2023, to delegate more tasks, to make our life easier a little bit, and to have spend more time with the family. So it's patience and delegation for me.
Well, if I had to give an advice, I would definitely, if somebody's struggling, and it's coming from my own thing, step back, take a day off, literally shut your phones down and take a really good close look. If this is, and after that day you're still determined, this is mine, this is what I want to do, then all 24 hours that is yours to come out of. You will figure out the way to find a way out of your struggles, but it has to be your own way. Do not be afraid to ask for help at that point. Once you determine that this is it, you're not interested because you love to do this, or even if you just want to see that you succeed at this, do not be afraid to step back and ask for advice. There is no wrong time to ask for advice. That advice may serve you really well, and and be ready to take even something you don't want to hear. There may be advice, somebody will tell you, you're better off moving somewhere else, doing something else. Don't take it personal, but don't struggle for 25 years and all of a sudden, I've done all of this 25 years now, I got nowhere to go. That also may not be the answer. But step back, reanalyze, rethink, and ask for advice. Patience is great, everything is great, but you have to, somewhere inside, you have to determine where you want to be. You have that goal, you figure it out.
Thank you. That's awesome. Well, as we're winding down here, I want to talk about your biggest win so far. So we've only been working together just a couple months now. And obviously you're at our highest level of coaching. Carol and I are not cheap because we provide a lot of value. And we don't apologize for that. So have you feel like you've gotten your money's worth in 2 months already? What have you got the most value out of our relationship with so far from a financial perspective?
Well, from financial perspective, then I can talk about financials. Well, first is definitely getting a person who knows the industry we're in, and I'm talking about your accountant. That is your advice. We did obviously had to move on our own, make a decision. And I had a previous 15-year-old relationship with our own accountant, and obviously not everybody knows everything. You have to realize that, then make appropriate stand, and money did follow up, only because it's not that we just took somebody's advice and, oh my gosh, well, you owe this by the government because of the COVID, and your financial situation improved right away. You have to know the issue, because don't forget, ultimately it's your responsibility, not accountants, not Brian's or Carol's, not Natalia, not even, well, it is Natalia's and mine. We sign off on these things, but you have to know at least some issue to do it. So financially, it was right away improvement, which nobody expected to be that fast. We would not have even approached that thing. We took it for granted what we knew. And that's another advice, probably. Don't take everything for granted. Just because somebody didn't succeed, that doesn't mean you won't. You will find your own way. That's number one. That's the financial return right away, as you want to say. But more to it. Financially, I realized how many more steps I can eliminate to, number one, add to the bottom line. Number three, streamline it. I was not comfortable till talking to you about getting software online and do it myself. But talking to see how easy it is. And it's, again, ask for advice. You don't have to do it, but if it makes sense, but it takes somebody else. These are the little things that you don't realize how much there you can still, as much as you think everything is perfect in school, and like I thought that I know finances pretty well. Well, apparently not. Apparently I can do even better. And that was the result of meeting you guys. And it makes us feel good that we made the right decision and met right people and asked the right people the advice. Could have picked somebody else. Nope. Well, there's a reason.
Well, we appreciate that.
There's a reason. Yeah.
Yes, we always meet people for a reason.
Absolutely. Anybody who you meet, just listen to your gut feeling, as they call it. But it's tough because sometimes you have to go against what you're logically thinking. And
yeah,
sometimes logic doesn't really work with that.
Right.
Trust your instinct. You basically, everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and what needs to be done. They just trust in yourself. It's so hard, but it is doable.
All right, sounds good. Well, we have final question for you.
So what's your favorite relaxing activity to do as a couple?
We are working, before we met you, we were working so hard that we didn't even, we always did things spontaneously. And that's what made things for us relaxing. So now, as you ask this question, it's like, maybe we should do something that's on a permanent basis that we have to come up with, because it's a kind of makes us think.
Well, we still have 3 kids. And if it's not one thing, then another. They're all in schools, everything else. But we don't, not yet at least, we don't have our Sunday, movie night or something like that. But we will get up out of nowhere and see if, as long as everybody's healthy, we just go on a hike, go to the city, take a huge long drive, and just, we don't have to discuss business all the time or what the family is. Sometimes, believe it or not, driving in the car, just driving for a couple hours. I like driving north. I don't like driving south for whatever reason.
Yeah, we live north of you. I'm just saying.
Keep on talking, Brian. We'll see you there.
The door is open. We got plenty of room.
And we will drive, and you don't have to say anything. But both knowing that everything is good, or at least where we're supposed to be, it's
a good feeling. From
day-to-day operations and thinking and running around, all of a sudden you have that 5-hour drive back and forth. I personally enjoy it. And just with Natalia, it'll just sit and drive. Nothing. Sometimes it suffices and gives you that boost for the next week.
That's for sure.
When I was a little younger, I liked driving too, but I don't like it as much now. And our car only goes south. We don't like it going north. So we have to meet in the middle sometime.
That's okay. They're coming out with self-driving cars, Teslas.
Oh, there you go.
You go.
You don't have to. You can just sit and relax.
Sit, relax. Or to hire somebody to drive if you don't like it. That's right. I can delegate it. Get a chauffeur driver.
As long as there is a window.
Yeah. Because Carol and I will be in the back. Yeah, baby. Well, guys, we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy life to spend a little time with our audience today. I know you provided valuable insight. We love working with you guys, and thank you so much, Andrey and Natalia, for coming on the Child Care Genius podcast with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us. It's been a pleasure.
You bet. Have a great day.
They're such a cute couple.
I know. They sure are. We love coaching them. In our coaching group, we only do one-on-one coaching. So we really love getting to know the people that we work with, their business inside and out. We get to know them on a personal level. So we get to spend time with them every single month, dig in their business. We know their finances. We know on the financial side. So we're able to really know where their hidden blind spots are, as we talked about in the interview. And they're just fun.
Yeah, we loved spending the entire day with them. We got to know them very well. They're funny. They're a lot of fun, and they talk to us about things. And like Brian says, you're never too big to learn. You can always learn things from other people.
Yeah, they're very humble, and I love that. So if you need help in your childcare business and would like a free coaching call with me to help you in any of your business that you're struggling, visit our website at childcaregenius.com, and under the coaching tab, select the free coaching call button. You're guaranteed to come away with 2 to 3 items you can take action on right away to help you where you're struggling, because nobody should be struggling in a childcare business. It's a free call. I'll help you out. It's just for childcare center owners only. If you have a childcare center, we'll help you out. So we want to leave you with one thought. And if you get anything out of this call, think about this. 1 year ago today, in January of 2022, what did your business look like?
Yep. And a year has come and gone. And how much progress have you made?
The biggest question, though, is if you don't do anything different, where will your business be 1 year from now?
And if we can help in any way, please reach out.
So this concludes episode 23 of the Child Care Genius podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to spend just a little bit of time with us.
And just a reminder to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius
and
podcast.
we're going back to the beach now. So
we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help your childcare business grow. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.